3, 2,
1.
1.
We're all done with our hot flashes?
Action.
All right. Hey, everybody. I want to introduce my friend, Deborah Dixon. Deborah Dixon Anderson. People have multiple names.
My husband knows who I am. So
Yeah. Anderson, Deborah Dixon Anderson. She is the founder and CEO of Light of Gold PR for 13 years of marketing and branding events and digital film company. She is a people person and a champion of networker. She is a female pioneer in internet and technology. She studied at Iona College. She is a woman with an infectious smile and laugh. And she is the host tonight. And she is speaking about Christ. She has a
reputation.
I have the wrong glasses on that. I have the wrong glasses on. She has a reputation. Wait a minute. Crisis and reputation management. That's it. That's it. And she's my new publicist. And she's going to make all of us famous. Give it up for Deborah Dixon Anderson, your host tonight.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you're enjoying this.
Yes,
Try to bring
definitely.
the best and the brightest. These panel experts are phenomenal, as you can hear from all this wonderful information. Cordell Clear, who is our activist and advocacy speaker, could not make it. She's out petitioning. It's election year. She's working on getting signatures and all that good stuff. So she sends her apologies to all of us. But we do have Pat, and Pat has definitely been pushing that needle with voting and making sure that we vote. We all understand the importance of making sure that we vote. And so I wanted to make sure that I share with you some information about how important it is to make sure your reputation is protected. And so we'll start off with, this is top or bottom, Gio? Okay, I got the next one. So we're 13 years old. That's what Pat mentioned in the introduction. We do everything from public relations, marketing, event management, branding and digital tools, social media, web development. I'd like to mention that I started working with the internet back in the mid-90s when everybody said it was a fad and it was going to go away, and why was I wasting my time making fun of me and saying that it's not going to work. I worked in the internet at a time where I was the only, typically one or the only woman, or one or two or three of African Americans in the room. And it was just a different time. And I do remember getting gigs and assignments working with the internet. And I thought about when Adrian mentioned the phone booths, I laughed at that because I remember waiting for a call and giving out that number. And I was like, don't get away from this. And getting that call and saying, hello, this is Deborah Dixon. Yes. Oh yes, I'm available for that site, like it was my phone. So I did that. So look at us now, 10 years later. I started in mid-2000s, I started working with digital and social media and heard the same exact thing. Twitter, Facebook, it's a fad, it's gonna go away. And I said, boy, this sounds familiar. I heard this 10 years ago. And so of course, you know how all of this panned out. And it's very interesting, all the dynamics going on with that. So just to let you know, we're working on a lot of great things. We're turning our Gold Business Connect website, where a lot of you registered, into a little bit of an online community. We really want to stay more connected so that we're not just seeing each other at events. You know, we want to stay connected with maybe smaller meetings, maybe webinars. We want you guys to take it to the next level. And so we are going to do that. We are going to be doing a little bit of office rentals for companies that are looking for small office space for maybe for a small meeting, like 25 people, or just a little bit of another area to do some co-working and working. So we're working on that from mid-April to early May. And then we always have something going on. You need that? Yes. I got it. The next one. Got it? Okay, so we have that coming up, just to let you know what's coming down the pipe. We're hoping to do a webinar on caregiving. That's really really near and dear to my heart, as I am a caregiver for my mother, and also Fern.
Do you teach how to do webinars?
How to do webinars?
Do you teach how to do webinars?
I have not, but I feel like I can.
I do.
Sure.
The answer to that question
Yes.
is most assuredly.
Yes. heavy on caregivers and asking those questions because as I am a very recent breast cancer survivor, very, very recent, as of December. And a lot of people who saw me through that journey, Adrian was one of them, wonderful, wonderful people, Frida, Katani, a lot of you were champions for me and cheered me on online, and I appreciate every one of you. And ladies, get those mammograms, 40 and over, you gotta get it, you gotta get it. But young people, if you're under 30 or even over 30, if you feel something that doesn't feel right, you still gotta go to the doctor because a lot of younger women are developing it. So it's really important. Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, everybody can hear me. So we are going to be doing some webinars, and we always have stuff going on. We did a cancer event last year for people going through cancer treatment, brought all the wellness providers in the room, so we're going to be doing that again. So any of these types of activities you want to be part of, you can let us know by being part of that community, and we can stay connected, whether you want to, be a speaker in the future, whether you want to participate as a vendor. That's something, we're going to have lots of things coming up. So we just want to keep everybody connected. So we did the Women's March Alliance. The big, boy, that was something. The Women's March, that was back in January. We worked on that as a crisis and reputation management consultant. And we do a lot of stuff on YouTube, social media platforms. Everybody, the speakers that came up and spoke to you, I'm actually connected to them either through an organization like Adrian's Network or New York Women in Film and TV or the Brooklyn Chamber or somewhere. I'm connected to a lot of different people. So definitely networking is a big part of my life. So let's move on to what is reputation management? It's managing your online brand and making sure you are articulating your brand consistently on different channels like websites, blogs, social media, networking events. Make sure every aspect of your online brand is consistent and connected with your offline brand. A lot of people get that confused. Think about how many times you might have articulated a particular service that you provided. You're still saying that you do something when you go to a networking event, but you don't do it anymore. It's still on your website. And then when people call and ask you about it, you're like, well, we don't do that anymore, but it's on your website.
Yeah,
Why so you know what I'm talking about. So if you don't provide a service anymore, remember to remove it from your website and stop mentioning it when you attend events. I mean, it sounds really simple, but it's insane how many people I run into. And trust me, we're in the trenches with you. We always have to keep this in mind ourselves. We're always like, looking through our own websites, are we staying compliant with the advice that we're giving? That's super important. Make sure your team is speaking the same language. If you have a team, if you have team members that go to these events, everybody has to be on the same page. You have to be speaking the same language regarding your brand. So, and it also needs to be included in your training, whether it's your HR training, whether it's your team training, it has to be included. So let's talk about positive and negative reviews and responding. So over the past 3 to 4 years, we really didn't do reputation management before then. But of course, with all of these negative reviews, restaurants get excited about getting on Yelp and Google until they get that first negative review, right? Oh my gosh, what do I do now? And how scary is it that it comes up first when you Google this company, and sometimes it's like people you don't even know or people who are just being vindictive. It's very sad and disheartening what's going on out there. So what you have to do, what we have learned to do, is you always have to push down the negative with the positive. Try to get positive reviews organically if you can. Someone who likes your service or who's worked with you. Ask them, would you mind posting a positive review? Slowly, it will push it down. But it's a strategy, and it takes time. The biggest thing is, if you don't respond, if you don't have a system in place to respond within a certain period of time, that's an issue. A negative review could sit out there for a year or 2 or months. Nobody said anything. Nobody saw anything. And it happens all the time with a lot of larger companies. How many of you Google search, where you're going to go, where you're going to eat at, when you travel? I mean, we all use Google, Yelp reviews, Google reviews. We all do it. And I find that when I travel, Rick, my husband and I kind of make decisions on, okay, where's this person from? How old are they? What part of the country are they from? Before we make a decision to accept their review. It's like, well, they're not from our part of the country, or they don't understand. Maybe we might like this if we travel here, and maybe they don't like that. You know, so we found that we had to look at that. So you have to have a strategy for responding to both positive and negative reviews. You have to make sure that you're responding. You know, it has to be a priority. It has to be part of your crisis communication plan. And make sure your internal and HR policies are connected with your brand online and offline. I worked with a company maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I was so excited. It was our first reputation management project. We were thrilled to get it. We were like, oh wow, this is great. And then when we started working on it, we was like, oh my God, this is like so awful. You know? Oh my God. And because we kept doing all we did all this activity, and we met with them, and we pushed down all of the negative reviews, and we were excited and thrilled, and then they all started happening all over again. It was like, what is that? You know, we didn't know what was going on. So finally, I met with the owners, and I met with their HR person. And would you like to know what I found out? Ask me. What did you find out? Okay, I'm glad you asked me that. I'm going to tell you what I found out. What we found out in that meeting is that the person over the personnel and HR department was writing erroneous type ads, meaning they were promising like sales incentives, all of this kind of stuff that they were not providing. And so people, it became like a revolving door. People would go online to Glassdoor or any of these other sites and post these negative reviews. We could not figure out for the life of us why this was happening. Oh, that's why it's happening. So not only what they did was unethical. We know it's unethical, right? It was also illegal, because now you have given anybody who wants to sue you can show in print, this is what you said you would provide, and you're not providing it. So people would get disgruntled. We did all the work you asked us to do. You promised us $2,000. You're not doing it. So we had to take that away from them. We had to work with the HR consultant as well and take that task away from them. And we rewrote all of their personnel postings, anything that they were doing to try to hire. We took that away from them because they weren't doing it correctly. They weren't doing it ethically. And so that's what we ended up having to do. So there's a natural flow of reviews, positive or negative. Inspire great reviews organically, and meaning if somebody likes you, likes your service, they tried your service, they can actually speak about what work you've done. Then that can be a review that can be posted. Transparent business information, updated photos. Be you and your brand, you know. Make sure that you don't make it sound like other companies, but authentically who you are. That's what you want to make sure. So this was a great review that we had gotten about, you know, working with my company. We tried to respond right away. Thanks so much. You know, we appreciate it. If you post and share something, and Frida, you know this from experience, if you post and share something, usually I say, thank you so much, I appreciate you for sharing. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of have that little engagement. Adrian and I were always like liking and posting. It's nice because now you show you have a conversation with people. You know, Giovanni does the same thing. We always try to do that. So make sure you try to stay on top of it. Look, I want you to know, I know it's difficult because we're all busy. How do you do all of this stuff? If you have someone else in your team that can share this with you, then that's great. If it's only you, then I would suggest that you go ahead and put something in your calendar to stay on top of this stuff. I mean, because if you're a solopreneur, for instance, or maybe you just have 2 people, you have to kind of divvy up that responsibility between yourself and someone else. This particular company, this is a older review, but they responded, you know, saying how thankful they were and thank you for like extremely prompt removal. This was, I think this was like kind of a hazmat removal company, and they went ahead and responded right away. They got a really great 5-star review. And so it's nice when you can get these reviews and you can keep them going, but boy, that one negative review, and it could be just one. And it could just be like insane. So the #1 risk concern for business executives around the world is reputation damage. I mean, think about what we see in our news today. Oh my God, it's like a reputation crisis and reputation management crazy. Every day is something new that we hear about. 88% say they are explicitly focusing on reputation risk as a business challenge. Of all executives, 87% rate reputation risk as more important or much more important than other strategic risks their companies are facing. And so if you work in a company or corporation, you have your own brand and you're now inside of a company, and sometimes even what you do in connection with that brand can reflect on that brand. And you guys know this, when you see companies and maybe there's an employee that didn't say the right thing, didn't do the right thing, and this is your employee, it kind of reflects on your brand. So that's why it's important to have that training in place. So what we try to provide is consultation with your team just regarding your branding, not necessarily always from the look and feel, but I always feel that branding needs to be authentic, right? Needs to be, sometimes we try to be like other companies, and it's not organically and authentically who we are. We kind of Google other companies, take bits and pieces from other companies, but maybe that's not us. Maybe some of it you take a little bit, but you have to put your own personal spin on it. So it's not always the look and feel of the design. It's like, okay, where is this coming from? Where's this brand coming from? Is it you? Adrienne has her own brand. That's Adrienne. Felicia has her own brand. You guys bring your own personal authenticity to your brands. It's going to be different from other people. That's what's so good about being in the same space sometimes. You could be in the same industry, but you are what makes it different. That's the way it works. So we can consult with you on that, events with business owners and professionals who successfully navigate multiple brands. Multiple brands is not easy to navigate, but you can do it because you have to kind of separate them out. I knew when I wanted to do events, I couldn't put all that at my PR, on my PR site, so I created Gold Business Connect because I wanted to connect people, but it still was kind of an offshoot of Light of Gold, but I just couldn't put everything there, so I started to segment out. And so those are the things that you want to do. Adrienne has said it. She said you don't want to be that person, you open your jacket, you do this, you buy this, oh, by the way, here, I got this, go. And you met these people at networking events. I know you have. And it's like they're all over the place. They're like, okay, what do you do? It's like everything. The thing that I hate the most is when you ask somebody who their target market is and they say everybody. And I always say it's very expensive to market to everybody. Do you have that kind of budget to market to everybody? So a lot of times, small businesses, startups, are afraid to be exclusive to certain niches, but it makes your life so much easier when you know who you want to sell to. Now you can focus a little bit more on who you want to sell to, and you can craft your messages and your marketing toward those target markets instead of everybody. Everybody's not going to want to buy your services, and that's why sometimes you see businesses that are all over the place. They're everywhere. So definitely look for some more events and stuff from us. We're going to be doing more webinars. Feel like that's...
And teaching people how to do webinars too.
Teaching people, yeah, I just found out today. Okay. Absolutely. So these are all of our links. Light of Gold PR, Staying True to Brand You, Gold Business Connect. You can call our team. Those are our numbers. That's all of our information up there. Definitely, visit us, stay connected to us. We're going to be getting ready to do some fun summer events, maybe something on water, little networking cruise, around New York. We're just trying to kind of mix it up and do some fun, different things, maybe in Brooklyn next time and maybe in Manhattan. So we just want to kind of be open and look at doing some new fun things. And so that's my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yes. When you were talking about, if you're,
You guys can hear me, right? I
got a big mouth, okay. But one of the things that I was trying to figure out, when you're doing a startup and you have a vision for two different parts of your business, is it wise to maybe, well, let me focus on this and then do this one later, instead of like, as we were saying, opening the code and doing
Right,
multiple,
yeah.
I love that, That's-
Yeah, that was a great analogy.
It's
True.
such a great analogy,
Perfect.
because you're trying to figure out as a startup, and you're just trying to get out, and you still sometimes, and I know I go through this too, there are so many different strengths that we have. You have to understand what is going to get you and monetize it. In
Yeah.
other words, a
Right.
lot of the stuff we're doing as a passion, but we need to monetize that passion and get paid.
Right,
So
right,
how do
right.
you focus on taking that one strength and doing that, and then trying to go to the next one, because we have all these great ideas, but.
Right, yeah, I think
How do
you
you-
have to be, we talk about being strategic, it's like everything has to go step by step. I meet with clients who say, I need to start marketing right away. I know we don't have a website, we don't even have all our products, and we don't even know what all our services are, but we need to make money right now. Well, you need to get yourself a part-time gig, a part-time job somewhere.
Right.
Seriously,
Right.
because a lot of this stuff takes time. And by the way, I don't have budget. I really,
Oh, yeah.
I have to kind of pay you a little bit at a time. Guess what? This is not gonna happen today. I'm sorry, and we just have to be honest, just to, like, if you have a small budget, you could put something week by week this is your goal that has to be done. You have to I feel you have to have a website. I mean, the Tanya and I have talked about this before, some people put their brands on Instagram. What happened when Facebook and Instagram shut down that one day? I don't know if you guys remember, that was a couple of weeks ago. That's why we have a website, because our website is up. That's why we're putting our community on our website, because those types of things happen. So it has to be a step-by-step methodical thing before you can just push it out there. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to go someplace and market your business, and people are going to come at you with all these questions, and you won't know how to answer it. You'll look like you're crazy because you don't have all these things in place. You're giving out this card. Where's your logo? What do you do?
We
You
have
a
to
phone
run
number?
our
What's on-
webinars.
You know.
And then add that to your site.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, and that's the thing that we want to avoid for you,
Okay.
that happening. That's why it's better to wait and do it the right way. And then you can add the background stuff later on. But you gotta have certain things in place first. At least know what your services are, how much are you even charging? Well, we don't really want to know, how much do you want to pay? I mean, you can't, what are you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, so any other questions?
More questions? More questions? Well, you understand. You know what I love when people say to me, oh, but you love being an actor and a comedian. Oh, you love making films. You're an artist and a storyteller. You love it. And I'm like, yeah, but I like making money too.
Exactly.
I like to pay bills. I have to retire at some
Yeah,
point.
exactly. Yeah, we have to pay our bills. I want to make sure that we get everybody's business cards. If you don't have a card, we got little sheets. Victoria and Yamira will be walking around getting your cards, because we're going to do some prize drawings. And yeah, we have to do that.
Can I put my
Did you have Fern? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm running a raffle.
Stand up, Fern.
This is real estate, so if you want to have a free complimentary evaluation of your home and a dinner, movie and a dinner. I'm going to raffle what everybody, if you wish to also put your card in there, I'll be more than happy. My partner, Loretta, left. She had to run to meet a client, but I'm here. So would you like to throw the raffle?
Yeah, so we're going to put that.
Put the cards in, we'll pull the raffle.
In the same place. So we're going to do that.
So if you win like a lottery, like 50
If
million.
you win like millions and millions,
You will let me
we'll
know.
call it, we'll email you.
We won't pull the next.
I'm in the process of sending you an email, but I didn't finish it. So I'll finish it with you won, or I'll finish it with, sorry you left, my card was next.
So we're going to get everybody's card.
Everybody's card in.
Should I cut mine?
Wait a minute, I put my card in there, so I can't pick it.
My card.
What?
Just cut a little corner of it off, we'll know it's you.
Oh, yeah.
We have to blindfold. Blindfold.
I took a picture
Did everybody put in their card?
Up to 3 a.m. Just for you guys, 'cause I was
I mean, do you have your name on it?
Get it to very 15 minutes and speak to people. You don't have your name on it. My senior marketing director, you talk to her. She does got to be concise and understand.
All right, what took the cards in?
That's all I wanted to do.
More cards, more cards. Oh, you got cards
We
here?
have two raffles going on.
Wait, we need, oh, another card. 2 cards, everybody, 2 raffles, 2 cards. Wait. Okay, ladies, 2 raffles, 2 cards.
Two cards, 2 different raffles.
2 cards, 2 raffles. What's the other raffle?
Wait, yeah.
What's the other raffle?
One is Fern's raffle, the other one is for several things that I.
Several things. Woo.
Several.
Oh, wait, I have to put my card in yours.
Yes, Adrian, put your card in her thing.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Adrian.
Adrian, before you leave, I have to do this.
Uh-oh.
This is a certificate of appreciation.
Appreciation for Adrian Miller.
Oh, that's nice.
What is the other raffle?
The other raffle thingy, Victoria has it. Victoria?
Right here.
That's for you.
She has the raffle.
Bye, everybody.
Have we got all raffles in?
2 raffles.
Here, can I put it in?
2 raffles.
Victoria? Where is Victoria?
2 raffles. 1 gets you a male stripper. 2 raffles. I just want to see if everything's still awake. 2 raffles. Somebody's phone's ringing.
All right, we got 2 raffles going on.
We got 2 raffles. We got all. We have everybody's stuff in. Okay. How many? That's a little box for raffles. We don't have anything bigger to put that in. Should we put it in a bag? What's in these bags right here? Oh, those are the gifts, maybe.
Fern, you gotta let us know what we're.
Oh, hey.
You gotta tell everybody what it is.
Okay.
Why don't you take the ones that are in that one and put them in here? Put them in here because that's kind of like.
So the raffle, so
That's
I'm in real estate in the New York
You're gonna pick-
metropolitan area, Manhattan and Brooklyn, of course, and the other boroughs, and I'm giving a raffle. I'm getting someone to, if you wanna have a complimentary evaluation of your home, how much it's worth, and a movie. I'm sorry, and a dinner. Okay,
Yes.
so if you know someone that wants a complimentary evaluation of their home and wants to have dinner with us, we can evaluate your home, your property. Okay, so go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna look.
You should pull it though, Adrian.
Shake it, let me shake it.
You should pull. No. Adrian should pull it.
Huh? No, she didn't.
All right.
Let's see.
Wow, Pat.
I live in New Jersey. Hey, I never win anything. You don't have to come in Jersey and evaluate. We'll just go to dinner. We'll go to a pub.
If you cannot come from New Jersey to Manhattan.
No, oh, you're in Manhattan.
Yeah, I'm in Kips Bay, Kips Bay.
What's Kips Bay? That's in Manhattan. East Side? Midtown. These fancy names. I will see you in Midtown.
Okay.
We'll go to lunch. Don't worry about
I
it.
have your card there.
Yeah. Everything's in the bags. All right. Next one.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm a winner. See, my publicist. So it's already starting. The money's coming in. Free food. Oh my God.
So, Frida, will you share with us what your book is? Thank you, Frida.
It's my pleasure. I wrote, thank you, I don't think I need a mic, but okay. Us female entrepreneurs, we learn how to, project early in order to be heard. But I'm privileged to be here first of all because not only are Deborah and I connected through the Brooklyn Chamber, but Deborah is my client, right? So I'm in the process of revitalizing her LinkedIn profile, which is one of the services that I wear. But 3 years ago, I was so moved by the entrepreneurs that I was coming in contact with in New York City. And they were transforming the lives of entrepreneurs that they worked with, but they were also empowering me just because they were doing wonderful things and they were wonderful people, which I think is really important. I think kindness is like the pinnacle of success. And I just don't know that we oftentimes hear about the importance of having good people skills and relationships, building relationships that matter in business. So I wrote this book called These Entrepreneurs NYC, and it is a profile of 31 entrepreneurs in New York. Some of them you may have heard of. Ramon Ray is very well known.
Are they kind?
Are they what?
Are they kind?
Some of them are. I would say most of them are because I hand selected them and interviewed each one of them. And it is my pleasure to share the stories with you.
Where can we buy that book?
Online, if you go to my website, consultflt.com, I have an e-commerce site.
Consult FL, because I'm gonna buy the book. ConsultFLT.com, and I'm gonna give it to all my husband's clients that are mean. FLT.com.
So we have to, there are a couple of people that came in late. I don't want to overlook them, and I want to give them an opportunity to Liz and Jerry. So she's slowly going to get a chance to network with you guys.
Okay.
My name is Liz. I have a company called Bar Candy. It's chocolate edible glasses. And I have 2 patents on the design. And I've been basically, my company has been my baby for such a long time. And I realized through working on my company as a solopreneur that I was getting very kind of isolated and lonely. So what I did is I looked into sort of different ways in which this could, like, not be the case for me every day. Like, who wants to sit there and feel lonely and isolated and depressed? And I don't know how many of you guys feel that way when you're alone at home in the computer. And sometimes I'll go to Starbucks and that's my only interaction for the day is I have my friendly barista or whatever. But so I decided to start another company where it's a support group for female entrepreneurs who are dealing with
lonely.
and who are dealing with the stuff that we deal with, and also dealing with like blocks and ways in which we can move forward together and support each other, because I think that that's really important, especially in this day and age, to support each other, at least for me. That's how I feel. So and I took care of my mom last year up in Toronto for a year. And I came back and I just really had this new revitalized inspiration to just really move in this direction. So even though I still have my company, I am starting this other company and have started it. So that's just a little bit about myself. And thank you for,
Jerry's a family friend too, and she popped in on me. I didn't expect her, but she came in. It's a
Well,
wonderful
Deborah, I really
surprise.
didn't expect this. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Love your outfit.
Thank you. And most of all, it's a pleasure to have so much positivity in the room. And it was wonderful to hear the speakers and what they had to share and exchange. And I came as a family friend of Deborah's, and I says, I'm sitting here saying, some tips. I'm getting some tips about different things. It's wonderful, okay? I have a charm and etiquette school, social skills for young ladies in Suffolk County, and the ages are from 3 to 17. I'm doing it for 43 years. Wow. It's in conjunction with an organization called the Vanette's Cultural Workshop, which my godmother started. Now her daughter runs it, and I'm her daughter's godmother. We're in our 50th year. We just had our big 50th year gala a year ago. Self-sustaining organization. No federal funds, grants, or anything like that. I'm on my 4th generation. I had the grandmother, the daughter, now the granddaughter, 3rd generation. We operate by raising monies on our own. Car sales, dinners, car washes, selling Christmas cards, meet and greet Santa. We do a potpourri of things. I do fashion shows with the Charm Division, so that's another fundraiser. So our business is based on reputation, as you said. They're very important. We've been in the business for 50 years. The generational thing has pivoted, and it's a revolving door. And when we have registrations, it's like the lines are around the corner. We have to turn kids away because we're in Suffolk County. One time I did a fashion show, a salute to all the communities, from 25 communities, from Amityville to Ronkonkoma.
Wow.
Suffolk, Nassau, and Suffolk County. So that's what I've been doing. Been 43 years. I won't say how old I am. 80. No, I'm not really 80. Close to it. Thank you.
All right, so I wanted to make sure that we got around. So we have some wonderful parting gifts for you, and we have gift bags out there. And I want to thank my wonderful team. We got Yamira and Victoria. They've been working on this with me consistently. Stand up, please. And Morgan, she's not here, and Katani's been helping us too. Thank you for all of the help. I could not do this by myself, so I appreciate my team as well. Yes.
If you want to do the other thing, the other raffle, I can email it to you.
Okay, all right.
Is it too late to, I know it's 10 to 12. I just want to say one thing. I've done many things, you know, just on a whim, privately, and I try this thing and try that, and most of the things worked. One time I repped my girlfriend. I worked for I worked with my girlfriend, who's a jeweler for 30 years at Jewelers of America, the fine jewelry trade show, Rolexes, Mickey Moto, diamond dealers and all that. Well, I was just telling Deborah the story. I've sold to Fortune off Saks Fifth Avenue, Littman Jewelers when they're the only jeweler in the malls. Now we have K Jewelers, which has been there for a while in sales. Well, I was at the booth, and the buyer from Littman Jewelers came by the booth. And so she says, well, I like your stuff, Donna. The name of the company is Donna Chambers Designs. She's been in business 30 years. Fine jewelry. Won Hong Kong Award, one of the only African-American fine jewelry creators. So anyway, Littman Jeweler buyer came by and says, oh, Donna, I love your things, but do you have a rep? She didn't have a rep. She's just starting out. So she says, I can send her. Me? I didn't know about repping. So I got the number, of course, she left her info. I called the account for a year and a half before I got an appointment. But
Year and a half.
A year and a half.
Wow.
But remember, Littman Jewelers has 52 stores throughout the United States in the malls. So I called, and at that time I was on my side thing, I sold fur accessories. And my fur contractor was Shackley. He says, Jerry, and his business had been 50 years. He gave me like, call. They will get sick of hearing your voice. Be courteous, be kind, continue to call. Persistence, tenacity, perseverance.
Yes.
That's another thing.
Yeah. 50 store account.
Yes.
A year
So
and a half.
a year and
But
a
she
half
got it.
later, the secretary said, yes, Arlene wants to make the appointment with you. I said, thank God. Well, when I sat down with her, she bought like 10 pieces of jewelry for 50 years. For 50 stores. Littman had 51 stores. I bought my first car based on my commission. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, the power of the mind. Don't doubt yourself, because I had never done that before, ever. Rep, what is a rep? But it worked.
Burn.
Sorry.
These Entrepreneurs NYC, Peggy won this book. Burn. We got two books. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. So we got different types of things that we're drawing for. We have, let's see. Oh, Felicia. Okay, we got Lafayette Grill, which is at 17 Fulton Street.
Oh, you know I like these girls.
She won a restaurant coupon last year. She's always
Exactly.
You're just gonna.
Okay, thank you. Oops. Okay, so we're going to draw again. We're gonna just keep drawing until we run out. Okay, Natasha, put these down so I don't draw them again. We had another one, almost everybody will win something. We keep going at this rate. Another one for Lavatera Brill. Girl, Natasha, you're stuffing the ballot over here. We can't draw you again. Okay, Lauren. All right. Lavatera Brill. You gotta come back. I got you to Brooklyn. This restaurant is a Mediterranean restaurant in the Brooklyn Bridge Park area. Old Fulton.
Nice.
All right, so we have more. This one's a Manhattan 40/40 Club. Yeah, right?
Sounds fancy.
I'm going with her, whoever.
I know.
That's Jay-Z.
Nadia, you gonna take it? This is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yes.
You wait till I-
40/40 Club. 40/40 Club.
Wait, I told her she left, I got it. And I would email her and say, I take your prize.
We got two more. Okay, so let me tell you how these two last ones work. You have to email me so that I can set this up for you, and then I'll tell you what it is. Okay? All right, so. All right, Liz Green, Bar Candy. This is a spa and wellness gift card. And next month is Spa Week. Next month in April. So it's a $25 gift certificate. And that way I can give them both out at the same time. And this last one, you stuffing.
No, that's a different, wait a minute, no, that's a different bag.
Yeah, I know.
That's a different bag. This is different, that's a different one. That was for this,
Okay.
that's for
Are
that.
you just taking everything? I'm gonna give you the spot, but I'm giving somebody else the spot. Okay, also. Pat is a winner. You won 2 things today.
I want 2 things.
So,
I'm volunteering
next
my
one.
time. That's a
Oh.
different bag, right?
So, remix design. You got spot, that's spa coupon. So I'm gonna take yours and I'm gonna give it to her, because you know I got it. Really? You want something else? Do you want something else? We can give you a restaurant coupon. You sure? Yeah. Brooklyn, Manhattan, 40/40 Club, either one of those, something Manhattan, I'm gonna get it for you, I got you.
I'm only gonna go to Spa Deborah if you come with me.
I'm down for
We're
that.
gonna have a spa
Okay,
day.
that's it, so
We're
we
gonna
got gift
spend more than
bags.
25
We got gift bags, do not forget our vendors, you gotta walk around before you leave, you gotta walk around, and you gotta network, yes, Gio. Oh, yes. Lastly, we want to thank everybody that participated, all of our speakers who have spoken more than one time, that prepared for this, do everything for us. We want to make sure we give you our certificate of appreciation. Okay, so, certificate of appreciation, honor of your support for women-owned businesses and professionals. Okay, let's see. We want to thank Giovanni Tavares. Gio is the IT guy. He's with Proper Systems. He always helps me with all of my stuff. He's phenomenal. He also co-facilitates the Brooklyn Chamber for 4 hours with me. He's also, yeah, make it your phone. Oh, he's gonna do a selfie. Oh, that's so cute. We have so many selfies on Facebook together.
A picture of a selfie?
Yes.
Cory Booker takes the best selfie.
He's also the founder of the New York State Veterans Chamber, support of veterans. Support of veterans. Love Gio. He's one of 2 guys in the room, right? Yeah, we got Fred and we also have Gio.
There was another guy, but,
He was in the wrong
no, there was
room.
another guy.
Oh, yeah, he left. It was a college student, he's part of the.
We scared him.
In honor of your support for women-owned businesses with your event support, graphic design, Katani Brown.
Take him on, take him. picture up with you, website.
Thank you. Best.
Over here, smile.
You're the best. All right, and then we also have three more to give out. Felicia Gomes Gregory, in honor of sharing your financial expertise. Thank you for that.
I feel like
It's upside down.
You know what?
He likes messing with us.
Don't.
He's out of control.
I learned really quick, don't.
Thank you, my own. Thank you. All right, in honor of sharing your health and nutrition expertise, Liz King.
Yes.
Provided all this delicious, healthy, plant-based food for us.
Great, thank you. Help keep my sugar down.
Look at me over here.
Thank you. All right, last but not least, in honor of providing laughter and enlightenment, Pat Caesar! Pat Caesar, somebody else got to take a picture.
Overhead. Overhead, ladies, no double chins.
Up high. Down low. Straight, 3, 2, 1. One. One.
Oh, he's gonna get himself something. He's gonna get something.
Hey, hold on.